Okay, I'm going to teach you how I write my songs. So I use the Psalmody application, and if you hit comma, well, actually, when I first started, I relied 100% on God, and I did not modify the God melody. I did an offering, and I got good melodies. I did a lot of songs, and they started getting boring, too similar, and so I switched to a more complicated rhythm. So if you look on here, there's simple rhythm, normal rhythm, and complex rhythm. For the first, I guess, 3/4 of the songs I did with normal, and you can have rests or not have rests. When I first started out, I treated them as kind of sacred. Then I started modifying them to improve them and stuff like that. The formula, or the format that I used in those first 7 years was I did 2 of these normal. I did 2 measures, then repeated, then 2 measures, and repeated, and this is how I did all my songs. So let's see. Oh, I have to turn down the volume. Hold on. So I didn't do an offering, so I don't expect this to be very good. Well, it's not excellent, and if it's not excellent, just throw it away. I'm just joking. Actually, when it comes to songs, one excellent song is worth 10,000 good songs. Just anyway, I'm just saying. But if you want to make songs as part of your what do they call that? Your observance. When you pray, you can make songs, and God will respond. So I put lyrics on. I generate a random word. Hold on a second. I have to fix my random word. Okay, the right vocabulary. I have my own vocabulary that I use normally. Anyway, so I'm putting it back to Augustine, which is that's what you are probably using. Anyway, F7 is for a word, and we got deceivers. So the name of this song is Deceivers. So once you have a title, it's really easy to write lyrics, especially if God planned it. And he did, in fact, plan it. Anyway, so we have a melody, Deceiver. It's not bad. Maybe I'll keep it. It doesn't really excite me at the moment. But anyway, so I'm going to show you, in theory, you have to earn your melodies. But I'm sure there will be a lot of people who don't believe, they think it's superstition. But when God talks, it's not superstition. Solemnities, absence, indirect, Indiana, leisure, tasted. So I write indirect songs. What I do, music comes from muse. The Greeks believed that inspiration came from creatures. Anyway, God's laughing. Anyway, so sometimes I think it's not so much they give inspiration, but they stop blocking. Sometimes they block ideas. That's just my own theory. Anyway, so if you're good at comics, but you're not so good at melodies, if you're good at comics, but you're not so good at melodies, you can write a melody and exchange it for a lyric. What did I just say? You can write a comic and exchange it for a. Well, I did. I did a new one. Okay. So God said it's an equal exchange. So the melody is just as good as the comic. And then when you do a lyric, you earn credit for more melodies. So I'm going to do a comic. Moses says, harps are heavy. God says, what I do I have a formula for my comics. I try to think about, first you don't want to repeat the same joke over and over. So what I do is I try to think about I don't deal with liberation. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I always deal with in the desert, which is, it's funny because they came out of slavery and got into a worse situation. I think that's funny. But they got miracles. Anyway, so they're in the desert and it's terrible. And they get miracles. Anyway, so I try to think about some part of the story or something about the desert, and I make Moses say something. And then ideally, I make God say something clever and funny. That's how I do it. So try to think of some aspect about the story and then make it funny. Harps are heavy. Okay. So if I'm doing this just for myself, I have low expectations. In other words, I might do a crappy one, but you really shouldn't have low expectations. Clouds. Harps are heavy. Clouds are strong. I could do better. Let's see. Okay, I might keep this. Normally when I'm doing, they're not worthy to keep in my list of comics. I need to do quality control. Sometimes you'll see deleted numbers. That's quality control. Anyway, as a matter of fact, I would be embarrassed if I looked. Anyway, so let's go see what kind of melody we get. Sometimes God doesn't pay me a melody, He just pays me words. That's kind of disappointing. Okay, we're going to go for complicated. This is like a big gamble. You can either go, simple is always good, normal is good maybe a third of the time, complex is a big gamble. But I guess it depends. In theory, it depends on your offering. It does. I got all my good songs when I did offerings, I think. Okay. God said one voice is all you need. But he liked harmony one time. I forgot where that was. Okay, that's not so good, but maybe I can rescue it. What you want something with character. You know how maybe a dog with the scar has character. I don't know. You want something that's not just blah. You want character. It's very melancholy at the beginning. Let's see what God names it. Beginning. In the beginning, there was dark. Whoa. Did I lose it? Oh, I saved it. Okay. Okay, the second half is crap. The first half is acceptable. Should I rescue it? The second half is crap. After you do 100 songs, you can tell the difference in a good song and a bad song. If you're a beginner, you probably can't tell the difference in a good song and a bad song. And the funny thing is, when you hear a song on the radio, you're probably an idiot. Until you listen to 100 songs and you evaluate them, you have no musical taste. I'm willing to bet most people will benefit tremendously from the exercise of evaluating songs. Okay, I'm not really interested in fixing it right now. Basically, I can show you how the program works. You can change, anyway, you can change notes to different types. You hit carriage return on top of the note. It's really nice that you can use cursor to go back and forth, and there's only one voice, and you can use the clipboard just like you're doing text. Control insert, copy. Having one voice makes it really pleasant. It's simple. And then you put words on it, put carriage return, set a word, hello. You have to put the words on notes. A singer can put them in between notes. Most of my songs you cannot sing. That's okay, because I can't sing anyway. It's kind of a new art form. It's not rap, and it's not singing. It's kind of like I don't know what you call it. It's maybe I'm weird. Anyway, if you listen, where's a good one? I like. Oh, and then when you're all done, you make an animation, a little program. Ouch. I'm a drummer, and it really grieves me that the timing is irregular. I'm also a programmer, and that makes me look bad, but it's not my fault. In VMware, the timing is good. In QEMU, it's not always good. I think you can hear it, can't you? I hope you can hear it. The timing is off. It sounds really awful to me. Anyway, so once you put the words on it and save it, listen. What you do is you listen to it and decide what words you want, and then put them on there. Listen to it over and over. Anyway, like for fishermen, then you make a little program to draw a fish and draw some lines, and so this is what the whole song consists of. It has the notes are just A, B, C, D, and a number is an octave, and then you say Q for quarter, S for 16th, E for eighth, and if you put a dot, then it makes it 1.5 times. I think if you put a T, that makes it a triplet, so like a third longer. Is that how it works? What am I thinking? Third. It makes it a third. Anyway, I can't think at the moment. Anyway, so each of these play statements has one string for the notes, and then it has a comma, and then it has the words, and these are for each note. They correspond to each note, so the words have to be on top of a note. Here we're printing a sprite. You can put colors into the words, and that I make, when it's Jesus or God talking, I make it red, or a teacher, I make it red. That's kind of like you put a red light when you're recording. It's kind of alarming, or I don't know. So I make God colored red when I make text. Anyway, that I have to distinguish between when God is quoting a random passage and when it's me quoting a non-random passage. So I put God in red. Anyway, so by the way, let's see what God wants to say. I have books that I pick from. Alt-Shift F7. God says, "Of this fortress was solid rock. Jim don't know nobody in China. What's that got to do with it? Neither did the other fellow. But you're always a wandering off on the side issue. Why can't you stick to the main point? All right, I don't care where he comes out, so he comes out, and Jim don't either, I reckon. But there's one thing. Anyway, Jim's too old to be dug out with the case knife. He won't last. Yes, he will last, too. You don't reckon it's going to take 37 years to dig?" Okay, anyway. Well, that's my little... I got... Okay, so the first 3 quarters of my songs, they're obviously, it's not alphabetical. Oops. What am I doing? Alt-P. The first, about 3/4 of these are purely by God. And then I started doing the first half and letting God do the second half. It's really cool because God can play off of what you create. He's really good at that. sometimes God repeats himself, but then again, I've been not doing offerings. Let me show you, this one's kind of cool. Okay, this takes a long time.